The same pressure that breaks rocks creates the diamonds that go in championship rings. And two teams tonight start their pursuit of a championship at the NCAA Women's Volleyball Tournament. Creighton, the 3 seed, taking on Northern Colorado in the first round from DJ Sokol Arena. Here is what the bracket looks like. Northern Iowa just completed a reverse sweep to move on, defeating Utah in 5 sets. They await the winner of Creighton and Northern Colorado. Let's talk about these two teams. First up, the Bears of Northern Colorado, tournament champions of the Big Sky. They needed to win that conference tournament. They had an incredibly tough stretch in the middle of the season, Shannon, but they are playing their best volleyball of the season right now.
You're right, John. You know, for them, they were able to host that Big Sky tournament, which allowed them to have a lot of confidence in what they wanted to do, for them to play the best volleyball that they feel like they're playing right now.
And they will face one of the juggernauts, the bullies of the Big East, the Creighton Blue Jays. 15 of the last 16 NCAA tournaments. They've been in the Sweet 16 the last 2 seasons. They host almost every year. This is familiar for this program.
This is what we call Creighton good, and Coach Rosen spoke to it earlier in the week, that they're just trying to play with a lot of joy and grit, but more than anything, they're just trying to be Creighton good.
Northern Colorado comes in at 17-15 overall. They were 11-5 in the Big Sky. Creighton is 25-5. They have won 20 in a row under Brian Rosen in his first year as the head coach. And though the players on the court have changed, the head coach has changed, the results have not for Creighton volleyball. Brian Rosen has just continued the legacy that Kirsten Bernthal Booth built.
Well, the really cool thing is that they were able to retain the whole staff. And so, while yes, you have a change in guards that's sitting at the helm, you have a lot of the familiar faces that are also helping out round out that staff, and people that have been in the program for a really long time. And so I think that's something that consistency is also really proud for them to be speaking of.
And Northern Colorado is coached by Lindsay Oates, who is in her 21st season. We have seen some long tenured coaches here in Omaha. Lindsay Oates, one of the deans of college volleyball, over 650 career matches coached. She's won 392 of those, looking to get Northern Colorado out of the first round of the NCAA tournament for the first time in program history.
Yeah, for Northern Colorado, theirs is a blue collar gold standard, and it's just about, you know, having that blue collar mentality and just to really put your head down and work and be resilient, because they started 3-10 to start the season, which is not something that this program is used to doing. I mean, they win, and they win at a pretty high clip. And so something that Coach Oates talked about was just the resiliency, having to switch up their lineups and figured out what worked for them. And so what we're seeing here today is a really confident Northern Colorado team that is coming here with that blue collar gold standard.
It's the 5th meeting between these two teams all time. Creighton has won 3 of the 4 previous. And the Blue Jays on this floor this season are 12-2. And the Blue Jay faithful are out in force here for this first round match. And Creighton, who sports so many award winners, so much hardware in the trophy case, just won their 6th straight Big East tournament. And you run out of superlatives when you talk about the success of the Creighton program.
You have, again, I talk about it, about the staff. I mean, it's the staff, it's the culture in which they're recruiting, it's just the people that are not just in the internals of the volleyball program, but everything that is in this university. I mean, you look at the gym here today, it's a packed Sokol Arena, and it's that standard that they have.
And Nora Wirtz, the serving ace, starts it off. Set by Alvarez Jorge, blocked by Creighton, played back across. Goes outside, Creighton gets a touch to it. Analea Mader, the transfer setter, goes right to Ava Martin. And as she has done so many times, she delivers the punch for the kill.
She's been an AVCA Player of the Week. She's just really coming into her own. Her senior season has just been an absolute dominant force for the Blue Jays.
Creighton, one of the best serving teams in the country, 3rd in the nation in aces per set. And that's a point to Creighton.
Starts out with that aggressive serve from Nora Wirtz back there that forces the overpass for that blocking opportunity.
And a lot of people looked at this as sort of a rebuilding year for Creighton with what they lost last season. Kendra Waite and Nora Sis playing professional volleyball. But Ava Martin and freshman Abby Hayes have picked up the slack and have really delivered all season long for Creighton. And not to mention Kiara Reinhardt, who has been absolutely stunning in the middle.
I mean, a season highs for her. I mean, she has just really built and established a really great connection with Annalea Mader in what they've established both in front of the setter as well as behind.
The serve from Reines. Go outside for Martin again. The tip shot kept alive. Tessina got it through the block.
Something that we're going to watch here for the Northern Colorado Bears is they're going to try to go fast to that outside pin. So they're going to put a little bit more pace to see if they can't catch the blockers of the Blue Jays either on their way down or maybe late to set up. So we're going to see fast to the pins, the outside pins, and then they're going to have a lot of productivity here from number 2 as well as 2 really balanced middle attackers for the Bears.
Ava Martin uses the block. She's just incredibly talented. She was the 2nd overall pick in the recent draft. And Creighton's Kiara Reinhardt was also picked in the 1st round. They become the first school to ever have 2 first-round draft picks in the same season.
And 2 that'll stay right here in Omaha.
Mader. Outside for Van Lanen, kept up. Martin got it right into the block and scores.
Something that I loved to have seen over the last few years of Martin is, you know, when she came in as an underclassman, she had a really heavy arm, and what she's really done here as a Blue Jay in developing her range, her off speed, her roll shots, her cross bodies, and then, you know, as a back row player, both in the serve receive, you know, I talked about the coaching staff, Coach Angie Behrens, who's been, you know, here for 23 seasons, and she's somebody that does coach those pins. Just to watch Ava and her growth has been really fun to see.
Reinhardt dug out by Lepore. Pushed across. Mader, near side, Jaya Johnson. Alvarez Jorge to the middle this time. Bennett couldn't find it. Johnson off the hands, got it.
Tessina's doing a really nice job for the Northern Colorado Bears in getting touches on all of these swings. I mean, there's a lot of hands that are getting in front of these Blue Jay attackers. And so if you're Northern Colorado, you just have to really work a little bit harder to try to play through those block touches.
Tessina, she has it blocked. Jaya Johnson and Kiara Reinhardt rising to the occasion.
John, that's a really physical block.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, those are 2 really, really, really big physical discipline. I mean, Jaya Johnson came in as a middle, and Creighton turned her into a right side, and she's having just a crazy coming out year as that right side pin. But, I mean, the physicality of that Creighton block, I mean, the length that they have for Northern Colorado, it's going to take, you know, we saw it here earlier in the match previous of UNI where, you know, maybe during that conference play that they're not seeing that physicality, if you will, and so it takes them a minute to settle in and to understand how to utilize their block to their advantage.
Van Lanen blocked again. Go to the middle this time. Bennett, first team All Big Sky award winner, gets the point for Northern Colorado.
And a really good find there from Nerea Alvarez Jorge. As you know, sometimes you want to find a way to establish your middles early, and not always is that going to lend itself in you being on the net. And you have to be creative in what we call medium system. So it's not when the setter is necessarily out of system where they're off of the net or running away from the net, but it's almost on that like 8 to 9 foot line where they can still run their middle. That's going to be something really key for Northern Colorado.
And Tessina delivers again.
Because what that does is right there, I mean, that's going to hold the middle block to Bennett, which is going to allow a little bit more of that defensive pressure on the Blue Jays.
Bears within 2. G.A. McCarter to serve. Reinhardt, quick to the middle. She can put some smoke on the ball.
Yeah, I mean, she's just playing at a different level. I mean, just the physicality, I mean, just maturity. I mean, she is just having just a phenomenal year to end her career here as a Blue Jay.
Tessina outside the pin, had to touch it across. Johnson, blocked, touched across. Lepore, tight set. Johnson was there, along with Eloise Brandewie.
The transfer from Ohio State has been a really good addition for the Blue Jays, as it's a plug and play. I mean, she's came in and really held her own on holding that middle spot, that second middle spot that Creighton was in need of after graduating. Their middle of Getzinger has just really been a nice add for them.
Johnson scores off the block again. Points coming fast and furious for the Blue Jays right now, and it was sensed by Lindsay Oates. She wants a timeout to slow things down. 5-point lead for Creighton in the first. Creighton on a 3-0 run, leading 10-5 over Northern Colorado. We welcome you down to the floor here at DJ Sokol Arena. I'm John Schreiner, that's Shannon Smolinski. Happy to be here with you for the start of the 2025 NCAA volleyball tournament. What an environment, Shannon. This crowd is awesome.
I mean, Omaha, the state of Nebraska, they know volleyball. They know how to celebrate volleyball. And here at DJ Sokol Arena, we have just that. A lot of fans in blue out here, both for the Blue Jays as well as Northern Colorado. First round of the NCAA tournament, you can't ask for anything more.
Wise timeout from Lindsay Oates. Her team scores out of the timeout to cut the lead down to 4. We mentioned it a little in the open, but Northern Colorado endured a 7-game losing streak between September 4th and September 19th. And in that stretch, they ended up losing 9 out of 10. And on September 24th, this team had a 3-10 record. You mentioned it. It didn't look like this season was going to be much for Northern Colorado. And, you know, a lot of coaches might have chalked it up to inexperience. They might have started to try and build for the future. Not Lindsay Oates. She said they tinkered, they tweaked, they figured out what they needed to do to be successful. They got into conference play and then went 14-5 down the stretch, including winning the Big Sky tournament in their home gym to get themselves into the NCAA tournament. Back row, Ava Martin off the tape. Reines, she is blocked. And the Creighton block has come up big here early on in this match.
Early to the front row now with Reines. First time, first opportunity for her to kind of feel out the physicality of that Blue Jay block. So look for her to try to add a little bit more variability within her shot selection, as well as trying to go high up the hands.
Reines again uses the block to score that time. Bryn Reines, second team all Big Sky. She had 36 kills between the 3 Big Sky tournament matches. She really turned it on when the postseason started. 12-7 Creighton. Back row, Martin. What a dig by McCarter. Touched across, Brandewie, crafty finish.
And I know early we saw Ava Martin unleashing on the left side pin. Don't be surprised if you see intentionality from Creighton to be attacking the middle of the court. So whether they're running 1s and 6s with their slides, whether they're attacking with the BIC, or even having Analea, who's now in the front row, calling her own number. Because for them, they're wanting to try to see if they can find a way to have Northern Colorado kind of press in, bunch block, and that's going to allow for more opportunities for the pins to open up. So not as if their pins can't score, that is for the Blue Jays, but rather they want to try to see if they can't attack the middle of the court early.
Nerea Alvarez-Jorge serves it. Pushed far. Martin, cross court, wide. Just missed it a little bit. 13-9 now, Creighton up 4. Alvarez-Jorge, we talked to Lindsay Oates. It's the first ever junior college player that she's brought into her program.
The thing that really stands out to her is not only what she can do as a setter, but just a really good blocker, a really good defender, just plays just all levels of the game. And I think when you have a setter that's able to do all 3 of those components, it really lends to success.
Ava Martin with another kill. Just continues to rack up the career statistics. one of the absolute best in Creighton history, and it seems like we say that every year. There's always a player exiting this program every year who's one of the best that Creighton's ever had. And Reinhardt missed it wide on the overpass, 14-10. Just hovering around this 4-point deficit for the Bears. See if they can make a run with Reinus at the serving line.
Yeah, and it's going to be important for them to find ways where they're able to create their own destiny. So whether it's behind the service line, that's the one opportunity that you have to stop the moment and really be able to go for it. Whether it be, you know, finding a way to score by using tools in different ranges. I mean, there's so much that you can do defensively, like against a really quality opponent that is in the Blue Jays offense. There's not going to be a whole ton of opportunities for your defense to really score points. It's just going to try to create the opportunity to keep them at bay. So it's going to be for Northern Colorado, it's really going to come down to, can they score points?
Tessina got it. A long rally finished off by Tessina, the Bears kill leader, and she's got him within 3.
Just a big arm, and she's working on her IQ. So just seeing that Breisinger's a little bit sucked in and utilizes every piece of that sideline.
Martin got it. She is so strong.
Yeah. I'm really impressed, though. I think Northern Colorado's doing a good job of getting hands on these Creighton Blue Jay attackers, and they're trying to slow it down. It's just that backcourt, you know, just needs to stay a little bit lighter on their feet where they're chasing balls down to work off those block touches.
Tight to the net, put down Ava Martin.
Creighton has had, these are not things that are going to show in the stat, but they almost should add to the tallies on aces. But they have had 3 serves that have led to an overpass. I mean, that is as good as an ace, because most of the time it's just free money that you're working with. And so the Creighton Blue Jays serve is just at a whole nother level right now.
Creighton leading 17-11. They're already up to 5 blocks as a team. This has been the kind of performance that fans in this building are used to seeing. Yeah,
and when you have quality servers and you have blockers that can defend behind that quality serve, I mean, that becomes so frustrating as an offensive hitter. I mean, whether it's the system that you're trying to run, I mean, if you can't get in system, if you can't have a balanced attack because you're off of the net, it just becomes really hard and really frustrating. And Northern Colorado, I mean, they have done a pretty good job to stay and keep Creighton, you know, pretty close, right? But
yeah,
what's separating is their serve and pass, and that's something that, you know, Coach Oates talked about. That watching Creighton play, they're just so good at serve and pass that they can't let service runs and this happen, because you can play point for point, you can do all the little things, but you cannot allow their serve to go on runs, because that's when it'll really get out of your control.
And it's not a team that gives you a lot as far as unforced errors either. They're very efficient. Number 12 in the country in hitting percentage. They don't commit a ton of errors. If they get an opportunity, they finish it so often. It's just, they force teams to play their best to beat them.
Yeah, I mean, what Creighton does and what they have done, what they continue to do, is they are just so good at every part of the game. They're good on out of system. They have pins that are able to score on out of system and in system. They have a setter that's able to attack. I mean, graduating Kendra Wade is no easy task to replace, and you know, they've done that with Analea, where, you know, she's able to be, you know, a threat at the net. And there's the fourth
another one
serve that has forced the overpass. I mean, that in and of itself, I mean, that is so impressive. So again, when you're going back there and you're just letting it rip, and that's exactly what you want to see at this time during the NCAA tournament.
Mater, that one a little long. Mater was among a group of 3 players on Creighton's roster, along with Ava Martin and Nora Wirtz, who we talked about earlier, who were all in the top 50 in the country in aces per set. 3 players, 1 team, all of them elite servers.
That's impressive.
18-12. Lepore serves it. Reinhardt out of the middle. That is almost unstoppable.
Yeah, and if I'm Northern Colorado, I don't know if I'm going to target Ava Martin. I mean, she's just had so much experience and just is coming in with a lot of that, you know, leadership and is able to handle that. I mean, I might look at targeting, you know, the freshman and Haynes just to see if you can't break her a little bit, because really it's going to be important for Northern Colorado to get them off the net.
Reines sends it long. Creighton first to 20, leading by 8.
And it's just a train that you want to try to slow down, right? It just seems as if, you know, you talk to, you know, opponents come in here and it's just, it becomes so difficult. I mean, you have to play your best, what you feel like, to even, you know, try to match the level that they're playing at. It just can get out of your reach so quickly. And it seems like it's, you know, just comes in like a freight train.
That's an ace for Ava Martin. 125 career aces, 3rd all time. And make it 126.
Yeah, I mean, the storyline here, John, has been the servers. I mean, they're not going back there and initiating the ball. I mean, they are going back there and they are trying to attack.
Pushed across to Cena. Nader sets it up. Outside Hayes. Got it off the block. Creighton to 23. On a 5-0 run.
You can talk about all the things, whether it be the offensive prowess, defensively what we're trying to do, all the tactical things, but really when it comes down to it, I think the word that sticks out to me is discipline. I mean, Creighton makes it look so easy, and a lot of that has to do with just being really disciplined volleyball players.
Abby Hayes, seeing eye shot into the corner, and it's set point very quickly for Creighton.
Beautiful swing there from the freshman. Nice crossbody line, setting up set point here for the Blue Jays.
Martin to serve it out. Almost did it herself. Chance to finish it. Mader. Johnson. Tools the block. Creighton takes the first. A fast-moving first set. Creighton takes it 25-12. Second set from Omaha coming up. 1 set in the books. Creighton takes it 25-12 here in Omaha. Trying to move on to the second round. Northern Colorado standing in their way. We'll see what the Bears have here in the second set. It's a team that's been really good in the latter half of the season. 14-5 in their last 19 matches. Not a program that's accustomed to being on the losing side. Proud tradition and a program that retains players, Shannon. They don't bring in a lot of transfers. They've got 1 JUCO player, 1 Division I transfer. Every other player on the roster is a player they recruited out of high school.
In this landscape, John, that is, you know, that is really hard to do, and I really admire that. I mean, playing as a high school athlete, I mean, you want to have the opportunity to be able to get your opportunity to play at a Division I, Division II. I mean, there's great volleyball everywhere, and so, you know, the portal is a real thing. But I do think, and there is something that you do have to add to your roster. I mean, you see it all across the country, but I think that there is something to be said about still trusting in what your program can do in developing players at the high school level, and then trusting what you can do in your own walls. And then I think the bigger thing to that is if you're able to keep kids in your program, like some of these kids that are playing have been on the bench for 2 or 3 years, and they're now just getting that opportunity. And so again, that speaks volumes to a very healthy, happy program when, you know, you're bought into, it's just a little bit bigger than you, and you might have to be patient to wait your turn. It's just so easy, you know, to want to be the person that wants to go in the portal and get your opportunity somewhere else. But I think if you're enjoying what you're doing with the people that you want to be doing it with, I mean, Northern Colorado is a great place to be at. They have a great academic, you know, background that they're able to also get out of the process. That I think it really speaks volumes to what their staff is doing.
Bears take a 2-1 lead. Martin can't get it to fall. Alvarez Jorge for Tessina. He's back to the Creighton side. Martin, the cut kept alive by Tessina. And a little miscommunication. Van Lanen was waited a little bit too long.
Really good up there by Bella Lepore, one that Coach Oates talked about having just a phenomenal tournament to end this regular conference tournament season. Somebody that she said really worked hard to keep them and set them up to that run that they had, and could have easily been named MVP for them.
Analea Mader delivers an ace. And one of those players you were talking about was the middle, who's in there now, Zoe Gibbs. Didn't play much her first 3 years on campus, and really has been a surprise. According to Coach Oates this season, that one's wide for a point to Creighton that just they didn't ever see coming, the kind of season that she's had, and she's been a very key part of this run that Northern Colorado's been on.
I think that's so awesome. I mean, it also speaks to, you know, where these athletes are coming from, and you know, being raised to be resilient and to keep working hard. And so you love to be able to root for players that have that growth and have that success.
Ava Martin puts another one down. Creighton's up 5-2. After an early lead by Northern Colorado, Blue Jays back in control.
Just look at that range. I mean, she's going in there and that crossbody. I mean, just a beautiful shot to see it from behind where she's working that thumb up.
Mader tried the short serve, came up a little too short. And now here's Bella Lepore. Had a great conference tournament, as you mentioned. Coach felt like she could have been the tournament MVP. Reinhardt sent it wide.
Northern Colorado take advantage of any uncharacteristic errors from the Blue Jays, and if you can do it early and try to build some momentum off of it, it's key.
And Mader got over the net to touch the ball as that pass sent her too close.
That back row attack, and Mader admitted it right away that she touched it. So again, another serve that won't show in the stat line, but a really great aggressive serve there from Lepore.
Mader had to dive to save it. Tessina. Now Martin. Just smoked it through the block. Gives Creighton the lead back after it was tied 5-all.
Going off of 1 foot, just taking it, working inside out, comes into the court, and then works almost as if she's going inside to attack that outside of the blocker's hands.
Lepore for Tessina. Good dig for Breisinger. Blocked off the hands of Van Lanen. Reinhardt and the freshman Abby Hayes combine for the denial.
It's a really good setup there from Abby Hayes, as sometimes it's enticing to want to get a little wide on that ball, which opens up a lot of cross court. But just, you know, again, I talk about discipline, and that's just something that stands out to me, is just, it's the little details that, you know, matter in regards of a block or a kill, is the small details, and that was on display right there.
G.A. McCarter. She is the one Division I transfer on this roster. She spent 2 seasons at Mississippi State. She only played in 10 matches and transferred last year to Northern Colorado, and has become a key part, and as a defensive sub and as a server. Tessina down the line, but just a bit outside the line, and Creighton will extend the lead. 8-6.
That's the hard thing for outsides early in the match. Both Tessina and Reines got blocked early, right? Just understanding just how high or how low I can be able to test the block. And so now you're starting to see some errors where they're trying to almost go too high on some of these attacks.
Bennett put it in the net. Never crossed, so that's 4 contacts on the Northern Colorado side. 9-6 now, Blue Jays in front. See the attack errors. Creighton's been really efficient. There's another overpass. Johnson. Alvarez Jorge for Bennett. Got one.
I love that play call, going back to her as the miscue earlier on the last play on that slide went into the net. I love that. Players go back to it. You know, too often you see where there's a mistake made, especially an unforced error. You love to see where they're trusting each other and going back to that same call, because that is something that Northern Colorado is going to want to do, is utilize their middles.
Layla Ballard's service error gives Creighton a 3-point lead. Here's Sage Damrow, sophomore, who spent a couple of seasons at Wisconsin. Pushed across by Reines. Hayes blocked. Great setup. Alvarez, Jorge, and Bennett were there.
Really good read, really good block setup. It's not about how high you are, it's just being disciplined to be low and over. And you see that crossover too from Bennett and just sealing that up at the last minute. Really well done.
Mia Lydiard into serve. Hayes pushed across, kept up by McCarter. And Northern Colorado just unable to get it back across. And it's kind of been the case for Northern Colorado. They haven't been able to deal with the serving pressure well enough to keep themselves in it. It's only 3 right now. It feels like a lot more, though.
Yeah, and it's just the little things. I mean, they're all the right ideas are there. Running their middles, doing the little things. It's just there's been a couple things that have not gone their way, whether it's a missed set, whether it's a missed route. It's just off just a little bit. But I love the idea of where they're going. It's just not being executed right now. So trusting within that process and that game plan will really be key here in the next few points.
Alvarez Jorge, the server. Brandoe, wide.
Really good idea to run this slide. Brandoe just gets a little bit too wide on that. I think if she would have went a little bit more up and down on that, I think she could have got on the top half of that ball. Just gave it a little bit too much.
Bears back to within a point. And Martin blisters one. The Laporte could not handle.
You and I were talking during that break of, you know, what do you do if you're the opponent of against Creighton? You know, how do you slow that freight train down? Like how is, I mean, they do all things so well. What is it that you have to do that is really going to at least be that key factor? And in those last few points for Northern Colorado, I thought they did a much better job of getting their setter off of the net. So for me as a coaching staff, it's not necessarily like how well are we serving when it comes to like pace and the depth. For me, it's who are we attacking? Because sometimes for me, it's not necessarily like how hard. It's like, it's the difference of Ava passing versus somebody else. And if it's me, if I'm Northern Colorado, I'm not letting Ava touch any balls. Like, there has not been any balls right now that she has not executed well. And I get the idea of being like, let's try to slow Ava down. Like, if we make her pass, then maybe that will put a lot of, you know, weight on her that might slow her down offensively. Nope, she's just too good. And then they have Kiara and they have Analea. Like, you can't have Creighton on the net. You have to get them off. So I'm gonna target anybody else other than Ava Martin.
And what we heard from Lindsay Oates was that they were thinking they might try to attack the setter
on defense.
Yes.
Yep. So that serve receive that I'm breaking down. Like, I'm not letting Ava Martin touch that ball on serve receive. But when it comes to defensively, yes, they are going to try to utilize ways to put them in out of system. Very much the same thing, right? Like, if you're serving somebody else, you're going to have maybe a better chance. Maybe, I mean, Brysinger, Damrow, they do a great job, but there's going to be probably a better chance. Now, when it comes to defensively, if you put the ball on the setter, you're out of system automatically because somebody other than the setter has to take the second ball, and so you're out of system.
Creighton extends the lead to 3 with a big block there. And at 15-12, we'll step aside. Creighton trying to get their 18th straight sweep of the season. Myself, John Schreiner, my partner, Shannon Smolinski, for the winner of this match against the Northern Iowa Panthers, who are going to sleep well tonight after that reverse sweep they pulled off in the first match.
That's just not easy to do in the NCAA tournament, is to win in 5 sets with the reverse sweep. It's just incredible.
Creighton with a 3-point lead. Northern Colorado's got to stay in touching distance here. Johnson couldn't get it through the block. Lepore, near side, Van Lanen, got it. Good work from Van Lanen with that big block in her face.
The other thing that we talk about when we talk about out of system, it's almost like for basketball, they say your 3-point shot is like your equalizer. So if you're playing against a team that might be more physical than you, if you're able to be a really good three-point shooting team, like that's going to be the equalizer, right? Right. For volleyball, what is the big thing that stands out to you in this match is the physicality. Right. Okay, so when you are a team like Northern Colorado that doesn't have the physicality that Creighton has, the equalizer is being able to get them off of the net to be able to match their physicality. If you're able to get them off of the net, that's going to allow you to stay competitive.
A great save on the back row by Ava Martin. Northern Colorado manufactures a point out of it.
I mean, you can't defend balls when you have a 6'3" hitter on the net. Like, it just makes it so difficult. You can be getting block touches, but it becomes so difficult to defend. So if they're off of the net, 5 feet off, 8 feet off, now I can get solid block touches. I can defend behind that, and if I can dig in transition, then it's a whole different ballgame for Northern Colorado.
Jaya Johnson on the right side puts one away. Lead back to 3 for Creighton. It's been hovering around this 3 or 4 point deficit for the Bears most of the match, but points are starting to get short now at 17-14. There's a good finish from Bennett.
That is something that Northern Colorado is really capable of doing. Alvarez Jorge does a nice job of getting that ball quickly to the pin. And so if the physicality is not there, you can beat that with speed. So the more their passers can put her on the net, that's another thing that will play into this match.
Jaya Johnson straight down. It was a blur.
That was a beautiful swing there from number 6 in baby blue as she takes a beautiful backswing, gets a little bit of line to work with, takes that thumb down and just paints that sideline.
Damrow back into serve. It sends it long, cuts the lead back to 2.
We talk so much about the servers for Creighton and how great they are and how aggressive they are in attacking behind that service line, and sometimes that comes with some service errors. And so walking that fine line between not having more errors than aces, but you're going to see it. If you're a really quality team, you're going to have some errors that go along with those aces.
And that's an ace for Northern Colorado, Mia Lydiard, who's come in to serve.
Again, anybody but Martin.
That was Damrow they targeted that time. See where Lydiard goes this time. Right back to Damrow, but it's wide. Right idea, just didn't execute it.
Yeah, that ball just got a little bit outside of her shoulder. So as a server, you want to hit that ball flat and clean. And that one came off her hand with a little bit of spin, and usually that happens when that toss gets a little bit outside of your shoulders.
Here's Abby Hayes. Reines. Got to get Reines going for Northern Colorado. That's just her 3rd kill.
And you got to get her going when you're on the net, right? So that's, again, another really well-executed set there as that opens up the seam.
Ava Martin had it blocked. I'll try again. No touch. Northern Colorado has tied it at 19. And now timeout, Brian Rosen. will step aside. Northern Colorado making a charge here in the second set. Tied at 19 here in the second set. Creighton took the first round of the NCAA tournament. Here's what the Bears have done against ranked teams. BYU, that BYU loss, Coach Oates really harped on that game. They really felt like they should have won it. Alvarez Jorge was out for that match with a concussion. She feels like if they had had their starting setter, they might have won that. And that was a big sticking point for her early on in the season when they were going through that tough stretch. Martin out of the timeout. Alvarez Jorge to the middle, blocked. Reines got it. Great backline shot by Bryn Reines.
Just a really good job of working the seam between the backcourt. Doesn't have the seam with the blockers, but you see she just sneaks it in between that zone 5-6. If I'm Northern Colorado, I'm serving zone 1 here.
First lead of the match for Northern Colorado. Martin ties it back up.
They're doing a good job of getting Analea off the net, which is going to be easier to defend. They just have to really do a better job of being stopped and reading what those hitters are showing. But you know, the sixth tie of the set, I mean, this is a much different set than set 1.
Wirtz. Lepore had trouble with that hard serve, and it's a free ball over. Martin. And Reines could not get there in time. It falls on the Northern Colorado side. Creighton up 21-20.
Perfect opportunity to call a timeout as you get the top server of Creighton back behind that service line. You're going to want to try to find any way to slow that down.
And then talking to Brian Rosen about Nora Wirtz, we asked him, you know, about her serving, and he said, you know, she's not the most naturally confident person. She was a little bit erratic early on in the season, but there was a point where she just sort of found the rhythm, and she has been lights out as a server this season.
Yeah, I mean, the Nebraska kid, you love to see that. The hometown kid that gets that opportunity. And I think, you know, historically it always used to be maybe those defensive specialists that would get that opportunity to go back there. And I think what you're starting to see in college volleyball is, you know, sometimes that player that has that contact point, right? So the trajectory of the ball is almost like it's coming downward. It's like a downward trajectory with how high they're able to get on top of the ball, that you almost, you trade out what could be a defensive sub to what you feel is going to be somebody that's going to hold serve or just produce points. I mean, that's the name of the game. At the end of the day, like, the volleyball is so good right now that you can't just, you know, you can't expect to swing, you know, and have balls fall, right? Like, you have to find other ways to score, whether that be your block or your serve. And so you're seeing a lot of stress in college volleyball that those 6 athletes that are serving, you better go and impact the game. And that's exactly what she's doing.
You saw 55 aces on the season. She's just 4 away from tying the single season record as a redshirt freshman.
I know that another stat that doesn't come into play, but that's a coach's point, in my opinion. You call a timeout and it works in your favor. That's a coach's point, because that's
probably, Wirtz off the line.
Yeah, it's probably the only way that you're slowing her down right now.
21-all, Reines the serve. Martin blocked, out of bounds. Fortunate break there for Creighton. There was nobody on that half of the floor, and the ball just drifted over the line.
At Northern Colorado, you see they bring all 3 blockers over on Martin. It's just they're catching that high, those hands just a little bit too high and not low and over, which lends for the kill for Martin.
Mater to serve. Pushed out for Tessina. She's got one. Tied at 22.
That's something we saw in the first match here. It took you and I a little bit longer to establish what the outsides could do to utilize the hands of that larger block in front of them. And for Northern Colorado, it hasn't taken them long to figure out the different range that they can play to their factor.
Mater is played across by Hayes. Alvarez Jorge goes to the middle. Bennett couldn't get it down in bounds. That was an opportunity right there for Northern Colorado. They could have taken the lead.
And I think we're going to get our first challenge here as the Northern Colorado bench looks to see if there might be a block touch off of the Blue Jays' hands.
Northern Colorado's chanted there was a block touch.
Green card comes out. Down official will go to the monitor.
Sometimes it's early in these challenges, especially if you're newer to the stadium, it's the systems that you're working with. Like, it depends on what kind of camera quality that you have, and if the call is that it's out, it has to be conclusive, and sometimes it might have been in real time, like you could see the touch, but it's really going to be, does the cameras, does that playback give the view that will show enough there. So we're going to look at that pinky. Is there enough evidence of that ball grazing that finger, if you will? Because it has to be conclusive. If it stands, then it means that there wasn't enough to overturn it. Confirmed means that they saw enough that says there was no touch, and then obviously the overturn, you know, if that's conclusive.
I think this is going to get overturned, Shannon. I think Jaya Johnson's right pinky moves on this play.
We'll take a bet.
All right. Are you saying it stands?
I don't know if there was enough there.
Okay.
I'm going to say call stands.
We'll see who owes who a Coke.
Yeah. I'm not great at these, so I don't feel fully confident in my answer, but I figured we had to make it fun. I couldn't go with your call, right? Like,
right,
I had to go against it, you know.
There's got to have some opposition here.
But yeah.
It's definitely out of bounds, for sure.
This one has taken a little bit longer, too, so we'll see what they've come up with.
After review, the call will be reversed. Point Northern Colorado. They retain their challenge.
And that's a big flip, because it flips from 23-22 Creighton to 23-22 Northern Colorado.
I owe you a Coke.
All right. I think they've got some upstairs in the hospitality room.
You're not wrong.
All right, so here we go. Northern Colorado with a late lead in the second set. Creighton, as I mentioned, has won 17 straight sets.
If I'm Northern Colorado, I'm probably going to attack the 1-6 seam. So don't be surprised if you see that pressure between both Haynes and Brysinger.
Martin delivers in crunch time.
And in big moments, you need your big player, and that's exactly what Ava Martin is, and that's exactly what Ava Martin does. It's taking big swings and just going for it.
Creighton's won 14 of their 25 matches. Excuse me, 17 of their last 20 wins have been by sweep. Bennett, what a touch. Set point Bears.
What a difference set one and set two is. You love to see the fight of Northern Colorado taking advantage of any missed opportunities that the Blue Jays have, and they've done a really good job of scoring their own points.
McCarter to try to finish it. Johnson. McCarter keeps it up. Here it is. Tessina. Brysinger with the dig. Johnson with the roll shot. Tessina! Northern Colorado comes back to take set two.
What a fight. The resiliency that Coach Oates talked about her Bears having definitely was on display there in set two here in Omaha.
The Bears not going quietly here in Omaha. It's intermission from DJ Sokol Arena. John Schreiner, Shannon Smolinski back here with you in Omaha. Creighton the host here at DJ Sokol Arena. And the match is tied at a set apiece. Let's see how we got there with some of the highlights from the first two sets, Shannon. Northern Colorado didn't look like they were with the program in set one. That changed a lot in the second set.
And you see the physicality of Creighton's block and their offense coming to play early, but the turnaround for me was Northern Colorado's defense, and they just did a really good job of serving more aggressive to get Creighton off of the net, and that opened up opportunities for their offense. Bennett there, you see behind the block, you just see they're just a little bit more balanced. I mean, Martin still took her swings, but I mean, Northern Colorado went into set 2 with only 6 kills.
Yep.
They come out of set 2 now with 21 kills. They're out digging, you know, they're out digging right now, Creighton 29-26. I mean, so while everything seems relatively close, I mean, the difference between set 1 to set 2, I mean, they definitely woke up.
They held Creighton to hitting 200 in that second set, and Isabel Bennett, who her head coach said she's our most physically talented player. She touches the highest. She's got the best vertical. She's all those things, and she really came alive with 4 kills in that second set as well. She provides that option in the middle to keep Creighton honest.
Yeah, you need to have a balanced attack, and if you can do that with, you know, quick pins, 2 quality middles that are able to score both in front and behind, and then you have a quality right side as well. I mean, they have 5 attackers that are really balanced, and so again, like the story here, the storyline that really plays is can they continue to utilize speed to their advantage? Can Creighton force their physicality? Can they really do a better job of really forcing that physicality onto Northern Colorado? Because that's really going to be the difference here.
Nora Wirtz will start it off here in the third set. And it is long, a service error, inauspicious start for the Blue Jays. Bears will take a 1-0 lead, with Bryn Reines ready to serve it. Damrow, tough take. Outside for Martin, tipped across. Tessina, got it! Here come the Bears.
Tessina has done a really, really nice job here in sets 2 and 3. Seeing that the block is set up on her more cross court, but she has that range and that capability to work that cross body line shot.
And it's an ace for Reines. First 3 points of the third go the way of Northern Colorado.
All from behind the service line, John.
Damrow struggles with the receive again. What a play by Ava Martin. That looked like a disaster waiting to happen, and Martin rescued the point for Creighton's first of the third.
Yeah, you can see Northern Colorado is really targeting Damrow, and it is, you know, putting a lot of pressure, you know, on her, on the passers, getting the overpass, getting the free balls, just weren't able to capitalize on it.
Tessina blocked. Kept up well by Mater. Van Lannen blocked. Chance for Creighton here. Martin came off hands and hit the floor.
Seeing the offense, even on these out of systems, doing a really nice job of getting that ball quickly to Martin, and you know, she's just so hard to stop.
Kept alive by Alvarez Jorge, but it's blocked. And Creighton answers with 3 straight of their own.
It's almost the opposite that you want to do if you're Northern Colorado. So I talk about Creighton and how they want to be on the net, because that's what's going to allow them to enforce their physicality. For Northern Colorado, you almost want to intentionally set your, you want to still be able to run fast, but see right there, she's swinging on, you know, almost like 8 feet off of the net. So while that might be the ball that you want, if you're Northern Colorado, that's where you want the Blue Jays to be hitting at. You want them off of the net, because that's going to help you. you don't want to be on the net if you're Northern Colorado, because if you're on the net, that block is going to beat you every time. It's almost like a trap set. It's just going to be really hard to work around. So for Northern Colorado, like when they're out of system, if they can still kind of keep some pace, but be able to keep them off of the net, it actually works out to their benefit.
4-all, Ava Martin to serve it. In the net. Creighton just hasn't looked quite as sharp since the start of the second.
Yeah, and I think it can be frustrating, you know, when you're serving pass, break down a little bit. You're seeing some unforced serving errors. The really heads-up timeout from Coach Oates to break up that serving run that Nora Wirtz could have went on was huge. Then you had a couple, I believe there was another unforced service error in there, and then you're starting to see that even now. And then service aces. So, like, what does Creighton do really well? They serve and pass really, really well. And so right now, that's just something that they're not able to do and something that they're used to doing.
And G.A. McCarter has served it well. An ace and then forces an overpass, and the Bears are back up 3.
And again, it's just that stat, right? The overpass is, if you're getting overpasses as a server, you are doing a great job.
Hayes, she was all over the net.
Again, just another disciplined play call from the Oates, from Coach Oates and her staff of who they're targeting is very important.
Northern Colorado taking control here in the third. Elena Tessina has not been super efficient tonight, but she's done it with volume. She's got 8 kills on 30 swings. And she has done it in a variety of different ways and from different angles, Shannon.
Yeah, you're seeing the crossbody there. You're seeing her just go in and attack the high hands, you know, learning as she goes against this quality Creighton defensive team.
G.A. McCarter out of the timeout. They go Reinhardt. What do you say when you need a point? Find the middle.
You have to give the nod to Sydney Breisinger coming out of that timeout with a much needed pass is exactly what her team needed. So that is what definitely set up that Kiara Reinhardt kill.
Tessina kept up by Breisinger. Hayes tried to roll it over, came back. Johnson off hands, kept up. What a dig by Reines. Tessina got it.
So deceptive, John. I mean, just her approach. I mean, she is going in cross court, but she just has really mastered this crossbody swing that has just been so deceptive for the Creighton block that they've just had a really hard time adjusting to that.
Northern Colorado by 4. Johnson put a little extra on that one. There was some frustration that was released on that swing.
Yeah, there hasn't been a whole ton of opportunities for that, as you know, the passing game has just not really put Analea, you know, on the net there. So it's definitely a ball where, you know, she's like, give this to me, I'm ready to get a big swing here.
Reines got it. And this doesn't even look like the same team that we saw in set 1.
No, and I almost don't even know who's in the front row. Is it Tessina? Is it Reines? Because their mechanics of that crossbody swing, like the blockers for Creighton, they cannot make that adjustment. I mean, it's just been very difficult for them to defend because, you know, they just don't know if they're going cross court or if they're going line, and whether they're getting them on their way down. Either way, it's just been really hard for them to make that adjustment against both of them.
Great up by McCarter. Cross court. Done. Reines again.
Just working that cross-court shot. Looked like it was going wide, but just painted that zone 5 sideline.
Home fans urging the Blue Jays on. They trail by 5. Hayes. What another play on the back by Skelhaas. Punched over. Hayes kept up again. Reines!
Talk about gritty defense. I mean, all the players in navy blue are ready to keep that ball alive in any way that they can. And again, just another gutsy play from the Northern Colorado's outsides, just really doing it all for the Bears.
Brian Rosen has used his last timeout here in the third set already. It's 12-6.
It's gone so fast.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like set 3 just started, and I mean, we're already 12-6. I mean, this game could stretch out and go long, or it could go by really fast. So I think what we're seeing is a really frustrated Blue Jays team, because what usually works in their favor of being able to run their middles and be able to have that diversity is just not going you know, their way. So will be really interesting to see how they come out of this timeout and respond.
Northern Colorado has had runs of 3, 4, and 3 here in this set. They have scored points in bunches and just really haven't allowed Creighton to find any sort of rhythm. And a lot of it is because the back row has been outstanding in this third set.
Yeah, you have to. I mean, you have to find a way to get touches. Like, how can I slow the ball down from block touches? If I can get a hand on the ball and I can slow that physicality down just a little bit, that's a difference maker. If I can be able to stay on my feet defensively, run through balls, chase down balls, if I can extend the rally, that's going to give me more opportunities for me to try to spread out their block, create seams in the backcourt and at the net, and that is exactly what Northern Colorado, I mean, they are just playing very, very good volleyball, but you have to attribute that to their defense.
Remember, set 1, Northern Colorado finished the set with only 6 kills. They've already got 7 here in the third. Lydiard. Brandoe comes in on the slide, and there's a big show of emotion for Creighton out of the timeout.
Yeah, really good job again by Brysinger. I mean, I'm probably staying away from Brysinger, and I'm probably staying away from Martin. I think if I'm Northern Colorado, I think those are the two that I think are going to be able to handle, and I'm going to probably try to put pressure on anybody but those two.
Whoa. Zoe Gibbs. Check the court for dents.
She makes her presence known here as she entered into that front row, and just really effective of that quick slide behind, one that doesn't get all the way to the pin, so it's almost like a slide 6, but really effective.
Alvarez Jorge with a good serve. Martin on the awkward bump set from Mater, puts it away.
For Ava Martin, if you're out of system for her, you're still in system. I mean, she's just so good. I mean, the only way you can defend that is just to try to do your best to line up on her, get your nose on the ball if you're the blocker, and slow that down at any way. But she is just so good.
And here's Nora Wirtz. Hasn't been her normal dominant self serving tonight. That's a good one. Reines, cut shot, sent it wide.
See if the Blue Jays can build off of this Nora Wirtz serve, something that they've done a lot, especially as of late here.
Rolled across, kept up by Mater. Hayes tried to set it up for Martin.
And again, John, like that set, like if I'm the Blue Jays and that slide set is that far off of the net, I'm like going after my setter, like you've got to get that ball on the net. But for Northern Colorado, they don't want that. Like it was a mismatch. It was a weird kind of awkward slide that was off of the net. Whether they're doing it on purpose or not, it's working for them.
Reines gives the point back on the error. But the Bears still hold on to a 4-point lead. And here's Analea Mater, one of Creighton's best servers, to try and drag the Blue Jays back in front. Kept up by Abby Hayes. Outside Martin, blocked, kept up. Martin again, tip shot. Rapport, Tessina. Another chance for Creighton. They go to Martin. coming right into our lap. And Lepore goes crashing into the media table, but it's a point for Creighton.
Really good effort there from the Bears defense, but here comes the Blue Jays. Little by little, they are making their way back into this set.
Out of that second timeout, it looks like a different level of focus for Creighton. There's a block. Van Lanen was denied. And did they give her the net violation also?
No, I think they called that 4, so I don't know if that one actually cleared the tape there. I think that set was just a little bit too low for Van Lanen.
Good serving run for Analea Mader. And Creighton keep it going. Trailing by 2. Johnson, got it! Here comes Creighton.
You know, it's almost like in set 2, after what had happened in set 1, how quickly they enforced their dominance on Northern Colorado. It's like as if set 2, they kind of got a little complacent. You're starting to see in set 3, where that started off, you know, same kind of storyline of set 2. You're seeing a little bit more, like you said, focus and intentionality.
Martin. Mark it. Tied at 14. Timeout, Northern Colorado.
Just another really good swing there, working the edge of the block there for Martin.
And you see Kiara Reinhardt right there in the middle. She's now Creighton's all-time leader in total blocks in NCAA tournament play with 47.
You know, Coach Rosen talked about how their team plays better when they're loose and they play free. I might almost want to disagree with them here just a little bit. I mean, there is a different, like we talked about, focus, intentionality, but they almost kind of came out with a little bit of a chip on their shoulder. You saw that from that Jaya Johnson swing that kind of built into a little bit more of that momentum behind a Nora Ward serve, and a few big swings from Martin, and it seems as if they're kind of coming in with like, okay, we need to check in, we need to work a little bit harder. So, you know, you're seeing a little bit more edginess, if you will, from the Blue Jays.
Well, it was almost like they won the first set by such a wide margin, and it looked so easy. It just didn't seem like that focus, that fire was quite the same in the second set, and here to start the third as well.
And, you know, no matter what the outcome is, whether, you know, the Blue Jays walk away with the win or Northern Colorado finds a way to have the upset here, I mean, it's the NCAA tournament, so whoever continues on, you have to be playing your best volleyball. Nobody is going to give it to you. Like, you have to be buttoning up the details. You have to be in the moment and checked in to do your job. Because if you don't do your job, it's going to make it very hard for your teammates around you to do theirs. And this game is just such a margin of errors. Like, it's just, there's such a slim margin that, I mean, if you're Creighton, like, you kind of need a little bit of the wake-up call. Analea
Mader on a 5-0 serving run, and Northern Colorado ends it. Good timeout taken by Lindsay Oates. They regain the lead at 15-14.
And that's just a product of that ball just getting to the pin quicker. So if you see there, both blockers are not completely set up low and over. They're still working out to the pin. And the reason why they are a little bit later is because they have to stay there with Bennett. She's been somebody that has also, just like the outsides, has done a lot of offense and held a lot of offensive productivity for the Bears. So if they can continue to try to run that tempo, that's going to be important.
Good serve for Ava Martin. Pushed back over by Reinhardt. Protest from Creighton. Overpass back to the Bears. Far side, Van Lanen. She's blocked.
You're seeing Coach Rosen very quickly hop off the bench to try to argue that it was a back row attack. In the middle of the rally, there was a tight ball that the setter went up for, and she is in the back row. And so they then they called the point for Northern Colorado, but somehow Creighton ended up with the ball. And so now there's a lot of confusion on the floor as to what is the call. And the call initially was that the ball was down on the blocker side. So Kiara Reinhardt and Nora Hayes, that there was a ball that came down on their side of the net. And so that's what the call was. There was a disagreement on if it was a back row attack earlier in the rally, but it looks like Coach Rosen is going to waive off that call.
I thought the up official had signaled point for Creighton.
You're not wrong. I think he got confused with how quickly that unfolded.
And out of the confusion comes clarity for Northern Colorado. Another point off the serve of G.A. McCarter.
There's been a couple balls from Analea that have been, in my opinion, not the best, whether it's the pass that doesn't give her the best opportunity to connect with her hitters, but there's been a couple of balls for Jaya Johnson that have been too far off of the net. I mean, if you have a matchup of Johnson versus Rhinus or Tessina, like, Jaya Johnson is probably going to win that physical matchup if she's on the net. There's just a couple balls that I think Analea can do a better job of leading her.
Bears back up by 3. Johnson, that'll do.
Much better execution there from Analea. You can see the physicality of Jaya Johnson when she's on the net. So you got the blockers up there, but you know, that just the sheer physicality and the height difference. I mean, it's going to be very hard to defend.
Bennett somehow kept alive by Creighton. Second ball, Alvarez Jorge didn't get it across the net. Creighton back to within 1.
It's going to come down to the little things here, John. It's going to start with your serve and pass, but then it's going to really come down to the setters. You know, what are they trying to do within their offensive play calls to put their hitters in the best position to score?
Reisinger's service error puts Northern Colorado back in front by 2. And Shannon, you can start to feel a little tension in the crowd here at DJ Sokol Arena.
Yeah, as we you know, approach the red zone here, you know, if you're a Blue Jay fan, you're feeling as if you're running out of some time here, so you're wanting to have a little bit more sense of urgency. Martin
tips across, pancake Lepore, rolled across Rhinus. Johnson pushed it out of bounds. Northern Colorado leads 20-17 in the 3rd set.
Really good discipline there from Northern Colorado. The outsides of Northern Colorado are saying, hey, if I don't score, if I can't do it with a big heavy swing, I'm going to put it on the setter. And that's exactly what they've done in the last few points, is they're putting it on the setter to try to take them out of system.
Alvarez Jorge scores on the center dump.
That's a big point there, John. I mean, 20-18 is a whole lot different than 21-17. Calling her number, and Alvarez Jorge, just really well timed.
Johnson kept up by McCarter. Touched at the net. Abby Hayes off hands. And a fist pump from the freshman that ends the 3-0 scoring run.
Just a really good job there from the freshman to see those high hands. That's so hard to do, to understand how high you can go to use them, not hit down into the block. Just a really heads-up play there from the freshman.
Bennett, she's blocked. Rhinus blocked again. There's the Creighton block.
I think Northern Colorado is trapping their hitters. I think it's a really good set, but I think that matchup for them, I think it's just 2 on the net, but I would intentionally bring her off about a foot.
Chance for Creighton to draw within 1. Hayes couldn't get it down. Rhinus, roll shot. Martin out of the back row, overpassed. Creighton will reset. Slide, Brandewie. Kept alive by McCarter. Rhinus gets the kill.
I know I sound so redundant, but I mean, it is just so impressive, the outsides of Northern Colorado. Again, like the further they are off of the net, really opens up their range to work around that block. And sometimes when you're that far off of the net, you can't necessarily put as much heat on the ball, but both Reines and Tessina have done a really nice job of staying behind the ball and really getting big rips back there.
Service error for Northern Colorado, brings it back to 2.
Big point for Creighton, as that's exactly, you want to be aggressive, you want to attack zone 1 there, and you definitely don't want to be handing over free points.
Olivia Hausman comes in to serve. Reines blocked. Back to Reines again. Same result. A third try, kept up by Hausman. Only momentarily, the Bears 2 points away from taking a 2-1 lead over the number 3 seed Creighton Blue Jays.
A really good job by the Blue Jays in their block setup, but a better job from the Bears in their coverage, allowing their hitters to recycle. And again, 2 balls that were on the net, and then that third ball was off of the net, allowing that range to work.
There's Ava Martin. Big point for Creighton right there.
And just exactly who you want in the front row if you are the Blue Jays. You want Ava Martin in the front row, and you want Kiara Reinhardt. So these are 2 really quality hitters. So Analea has to know her personnel. She can go either way with them. But for the backcourt, they have to do a good job of getting them on the net.
Wirtz. Great serve. It's an ace.
And just like we saw in set 2, we'll get a timeout from Coach Oates to see if she can't slow down that Nora Wirtz serve.
23-22. Tension convention in Omaha. Watch this serve from Nora Wirtz.
Just flat and clean. I mean, she has so much movement. It's almost like a knuckleball where it just kind of floats deep on you, and sometimes the bottom will just drop. Again, that contact point is just so high for her to be able to hit on the top half of the ball. So, you know, we'll see if the Bears are able to come out of this timeout by icing her, or even if they don't ice her, can they be able to settle themselves down, you know, to get a quality pass.
See the hitting percentages by set. Northern Colorado's done a lot better limiting Creighton's offense in the last 2 sets.
Yeah, defensively, I saw in set 1, their blockers did a nice job of getting hands on it. I just don't think their defense was prepared to stay light on their feet and chase those balls down. And so you're seeing that grit, you're seeing that blue-collar gold standard, if you will, from Northern Colorado of staying resilient in these long rallies to wear down that Blue Jay offense. But for the Blue Jays, I mean, they're in a really quality 5-1 offense. They've got Analea, who's their setter in the front row. They've got Kiara Reinhardt, who's been having her best offensive season of her career. And then, you know, you can't forget about, you know, one of the best in Ava Martin. So right now, if you are Northern Colorado, you have to get a quality touch. Don't put your hitters on the net. Don't trap them. And don't be surprised if you see their outsides taking a rip here.
Wirtz, another good serve. Just barely kept up, pushed back across to Creighton. Mater outside to Martin. She delivers. Tied at 23.
It all starts from that aggressive serve from Nora Wirtz, putting pressure on those serve receive passers and getting the big rip there from Ava Martin.
No timeouts left for either side. Better serve receive this time. Pushed across, but it falls on the Creighton side. The touch at the net. Threw the timing off, and it's set point Northern Colorado.
Sometimes it's just better to be lucky, and almost every single one of their misconnections, it's almost worked out in their favor. And so again, just putting that stress on that block.
Reines, the ace leader for Northern Colorado, to serve it. Reinhardt comes back across somehow. Back to Reinhardt again, kept up by Lepore. pushed inside the antenna. Martin roll, it's long! Northern Colorado takes the third.
And we'll see if we see a challenge here from Coach Rosen, as he thought the play that was kept alive from Northern Colorado with their left hand was out of bounds. It was not. I mean, I have a perfect view here from where I am. That ball was clean and in play inside the antenna, and so I could see easily from their vantage point of where they thought that ball was out of bounds, rather outside of the antenna. So we'll see the challenge, but this is not going to work out in Creighton's favor, as I don't believe as if it nicked it. I'm pretty certain that the way I saw it was inside the antenna.
It certainly looks clear from our vantage point.
Yeah, and I think you and I definitely have the better angle here. So you're going to look, see she's taking it with her left hand to keep it in play. And so you're looking to see if the ball goes from the right side of the antenna or the left. And so you're seeing it's clean. It goes right inside that right antenna. It doesn't touch it. If it nicks it at all, it's out of bounds. But miraculously, Tessina keeps that ball in play, which is such a hard, I mean, she's falling over into the R1 stand and keeps this ball alive, which will end up being their point, which will take them ahead 2-1 here in Omaha. I mean, and it's a heads-up play too from Analea to not jump, but yeah, that was a clean take there. So we'll get the call.
After review, the call is confirmed. Creighton loses a challenge.
And the Bears of Northern Colorado on the verge of a historic upset. Fourth set coming up. Well, set 3 belonged to Bryn Reines. She was money from the outside in that third set, powering her team to a big victory. And for the first time in school history, as a Division I institution, the Northern Colorado Bears have won 2 sets in an NCAA tournament match.
Yeah, 9 kills, 9 digs from Reines. The duo that is Reines and Tessina have really done a nice job for the Bears, combining for 19 total kills. But what's more impressive to me is what they're doing in their backcourt. I mean, just you can't have that offensive success now hitting 205 and holding Creighton to 175 there in set 3. You know, you can't do that if you're not playing gutsy, relentless defense. I mean, the amount of recycle opportunities that Northern Colorado has had is just simply impressive. To be able to have that resilience and that discipline and that grit, like that is something that has definitely been the storyline here.
Alvarez Jorge gets us started. It's an overpass back to Northern Colorado. Hayes can't get there. First point Bears.
Using every piece of the court. She's tooled, she's with cross. Hasn't done a whole ton of that throw tip shot to zone 1.
Damro struggled with the serve receive. Reines wide, point Creighton. In matches this year where Creighton has fallen behind 2-1, they are 2-1. They came back to beat both Marquette and UC Santa Barbara after falling behind 2-1. Analea made her to serve it. Down the line by Gibbs, kept up. Johnson. Van Lannen couldn't get it to fall. Martin with the tip, pushed it wide. Northern Colorado back in front.
Right now, if you're a Creighton fan, you're trying to root on your Blue Jays to just do Creighton good, like do the things that have got you here. And right now, defensively, they're really struggling. I mean, they rely so much on their block. And so right now the backcourt is something that has been a struggle for them, whether it's because they're not getting block touches, because the offense of Northern Colorado has been so deceptive, rather. That was something that Coach Brian Rosen talked about, being really proud of the steps that this team has made offensively. But what has gotten them to where they were, especially early in the season, in the preseason, that tough non-conference schedule, was defensively. What they did defensively is something that they really wanted to stress going into the tournament. So, you know, that's something that in that time, in between the break of sets 2 and sets 3, or sets 3 and sets 4 rather, I'm sure that that was something that was a big point of emphasis.
The tip doesn't cross the net. And Creighton takes the lead, 3-2. Martin now up to 20 kills on the match. 13th of her career. Tessina puts it into the net. Creighton up 4-2.
Serve, pass, and block. Those are the big three for me. If you can serve, pass, and block, it's going to set your offense up, and it's going to have you walking away from a lot of matches being happy with a win. If you can do 2 out of 3 of those, so whether you serve and pass well, whether you pass and block well, you have to win 2 out of 3 of those columns. And what we're seeing here in set 4 for Creighton is they are starting to serve and pass a lot better here in set 4 than what they did in sets 2 and 3.
Abby Hayes gets the kill. She's been fairly quiet. Just her 4th kill on 17 swings. Ace, Ava Martin.
The bottom of that ball just dropped out at the last minute, prompting a quick timeout from Northern Colorado.
Creighton trying to stave off elimination, leading 6-2 in the 4th set. Well, we got a good one. 3rd-seeded Creighton taking on Northern Colorado here in Omaha. Bears ran out of the gym in the 1st set, but did not let that affect their play in the 2nd and 3rd. Creighton in control here in the 4th. Tessina blocked, and that block will score.
Nobody better than Reinhardt to turn the momentum for the Blue Jays around. Just both her and Jaya Johnson, just such a physical block. So if you're the Bears, you're definitely not wanting to trap set those two. I mean, they're just such a big presence there.
Tessina blocked again. Kept alive. Tessina will roll it across, and she breaks the 5-0 scoring run for Creighton.
That's if you're Mater, you have to find a way to defend that ball, because it's not something that's going to overpower you. These shots that you're seeing score for the Bears, it's nothing that is going to overpower, and it's nothing that your block is going to be able to defend because it's so far off of the net. So that backcourt for Creighton is going to have to find a way to settle that down.
Reinhardt with the hammer.
That was a big-time swing. Big-time swing. I mean, she just comes in off the 2 feet in front, works that angle, has that one blocker on her. Just does it with such speed in her arm.
I could hear it even with my headset on. Block touch, keeps it up, overpass, put down. Van Lanen.
And the details, really quality setup. Waiting on that overpass and the timing of that, that's something that can be difficult. So just really good discipline there from Van Lanen.
G.A. McCarter, who's been really good serving tonight. Johnson off the hands, got the point.
Ava Martin has just been so good. I mean, passing wise, it's just something that gets overlooked as as a offensive hitter, 6 rotation player, everybody wants to talk about the kills. They want to talk about the blocks. I mean, those are the big things, right? Those are the things that you feel, the physicality of it. But there's something to be said. You know, you can be a good outside hitter, but what makes you great is being a high-level passer. And Ava Martin is such a high-level passer that it just shocks me that, you know, they're going to get their one if they target her every once in a while. But, man, I would not be having any ball close to Ava Martin.
10-4, Creighton in front. Starting to look a lot like set 1. Casino way off. Brandowy with the rejection.
Good discipline there from Mater and Brandowy. Not trying to do too much, just being simple, being low, really good timing. Sometimes that can be really hard when you're that far off of the net, so well done.
Second ball kept up by Johnson. Set up for Hayes. She scores off hands.
This is the Creighton volleyball that you're used to seeing if you're a Creighton fan. Just doing all the little things, spreading the ball around and executing at a really high level.
And Lindsay Oates takes her second timeout of the 4th set. She'll have none left, but her team is in danger of being left in the dust here in the 4th. They trail by 8.
Yeah, just a really good response from the Blue Jays after dropping set 3. I mean, it's a really good response. I mean, you have the leadership, you have the senior leadership. This is where your cohesion, your chemistry is really going to come into play. The trusting of everything that the scouting report says, trusting that the teammates around you are going to do their job, whether they were playing loose or they're playing with a chip on their shoulder. At the end of the day, you just have to do your job.
You know, I want to go back to something that Brian Rosen talked to us about when he was talking about the keys to the game. He said, we need to keep them out of system. Well, I think they have for a lot of this match. Northern Colorado's just been good in those moments.
Yeah, because, you know, the matchup that Creighton does not want to see is they know that they have the physicality on their side, but the speed is something that can trump that. So when you get them out of system, it's hard for you to run that speed, so then that just completely kiboshes everything that, you know, that's going to play into that mismatch, you know, favor for Northern Colorado and play to the favor, rather, into Creighton. So, yes, getting them out of system, it just seems so easy to say, but another piece of that, not only are they fast to the pins, they have 2 really good middles that can score too. And so when you keep those middles at bay, it becomes more predictable and a lot easier for their defense to defend.
They run the slide with Bennett. It's blocked by Creighton. Tessina, she's blocked. 13th team block, a season high for the Blue Jays.
Just another quality setup. We talk a lot about defense. And for the Blue Jays, it's the net defense that is really coming to play here in set 4.
Overpass, joust, won by Northern Colorado. Alvarez Jorge getting up in the middle.
A stat for me that I would love to see is how many times.
This is your favorite.
It is, because it's incredible. The amount of times that the setter, and a lot of times they might be undersized against the middle, they always end up winning that joust because it's an IQ thing. It's a timing. It's not necessarily the physicality. It's who touches it last. So I just love to see it.
Damrow couldn't get to it in time. Northern Colorado now back-to-back points. Still a 7-point Creighton lead.
Really smart here to call her own number and attack zone 1. Same thing will be really interesting to see if they attack zone 1 on serve receive.
Ballard the serve. Martin out of the back. Good dig, McCarter. Touched across Reines. Brandowy uses the block.
Really good defense from Northern Colorado to stay in that rally. A missed opportunity, you cannot be tipping. If you're gonna tip, that ball has to be on Mater. And so that's a missed opportunity and a really well-executed play to run Brandowy on that slide.
Hausman serves into the net.
And even though the margin, you know, it's double, the 14-7, that large margin, it feels as if you know, Creighton feels like every point, you know, as if they're almost trailing a little bit. You can feel, you know, that energy that Northern Colorado is here to put pressure on.
Martin, what a roll shot that was.
There is a reason why Ava Martin is one of the best in the nation. I mean, to be able to have the vision is one thing, and then to be able to have the range to actually execute it is another.
Nora Wirtz to serve it. Taken by Lepore. Pushed outside. Reines got it. And they get Nora Wirtz off the serving line.
Finding a way to get on that ball fast. It's, you know, really trying to find a way to attack any of your mismatches. And the mismatch is definitely the speed that they know that they're able to play into, because that's going to give them that advantage over that block that's still moving.
And sent way long on the serve. Alvarez Jorge put a little too much on it. Back to an 8-point lead for Creighton. Given right back by Mater.
Yeah, no matter how, you know, not no matter how, because Creighton has to win this set. I mean, they have no choice but to win this set. So, so how they do it is, you know, if they win this set and they force it into a fifth, it's really about establishing what you're going to then do in the fifth set. So buttoning up the little things, taking advantage of any opportunities that you have, establishing that middle connection, establishing being aggressive behind the service line. Like all the things that Creighton is doing right now, not only is a must win for them here in set 4, but it is really, really imperative to what they're doing in the momentum, because when we go into a set 5, you're only going to 15 points.
Right.
So like, I mean, if you get a team that starts off hot with a 3-0 run or a 4-0 run, like, you know, it can be a big deal. So I think for more than anything, building off of the momentum is going to be a really, really big thing here in set 4.
Chance for Tessina. Off the fingertips, it was inbounds anyway. Tessina with another kill.
There was a heat map, if we had access to a heat map of where are all the balls falling for Northern Colorado, like on the Creighton Blue Jays side, like where is the ball falling? They've been really successful attacking zone 1. So whether it's on a layup back there, whether it's a tip shot deep zone 1 and it's a defender back there, or whether it's working off of the edge of that right side block, attacking zone 1 has been really effective for them.
Van Lannen puts one down. Once again, the lead down to 6.
Little by little, just attacking any space that is available for those hitters the Bears are taking.
Tight for Reinhardt. And Reinhardt has come to life here in the 4th.
I mean, that's a player that, you know, when she gets into the match, she's saying, give me the ball.
Yes.
Give me the ball. And you just love to see it. Just a beautiful route. I mean, she's showing that she's going to swing one way and then cuts it back the other. Just a very high-level swing there from Reinhardt.
Tessina the tip. Hayes, off hands, got it.
I love that take there from Brandewie. You know, we talk about having them be out of system. You know, if Brysinger has to take that ball, she can't use her hands. So it has to be a forearm set, which, you know, might be a ball that's off of the net. And so when you have a setter that can go in there and take it, it's allowing them to stay on the net.
Lepore sends it for Tessina. The tip was blocked. Jaya Johnson blocked, kept up well by Mater. Abby Hayes through the block. Abby Hayes owning the 4th set.
A much better job there from Creighton, staying resilient within their defense, long within that rally, setting up that out-of-system high hand swing there from the freshman.
Northern Colorado unable to get it across in 3. And suddenly Creighton's up 10.
Trying to run the three there, that gap set with Bennett, whether Bennett was a little bit late or Alvarez was just a little bit too fast. Right idea, just not executed.
Van Lannen. Johnson couldn't keep it in play. And the Bears break up the 4-0 scoring run.
Just so balanced. Whether it's the right side quick attack, whether it's the middles, and they're running a 3-go-9. So when you see that, it's the middle is running a little bit further away from the setters. So you're pushing your blockers towards your outside, and then if you're able to have a quality right side that opens that seam up, I mean, that's pretty hard to defend.
Jaya Johnson paints one in the corner.
I think we'll get an overturn there. I think the far sideline called that out, or called it in rather, but
near side set out.
Yeah, definitely wide.
McCarter's serve. Hayes asking for a touch. None given.
Again, momentum, right? So 4 points away, Creighton. So, you know, if they trade point for point, they're going to walk away with set 4. But again, it's what is the momentum that you're able to build off of if you are Northern Colorado to go into set 5, because no matter what, there is going to be the factor of the atmosphere being in set 5. Like, for Northern Colorado, the atmosphere is the atmosphere. Like, you're going to feel that pressure. And so when you go into a set 5 for Creighton, like, that forces that pressure. Like, it's just going to be there. And so it's really going to come down to who has the momentum going into set 5, as well as who is able to really attack and execute a game plan. And you're seeing both sides intentionally attacking the setters. You don't want to get too tip-happy with that, right? Because at the end of the day, both teams have quality pins that can still score when we're out of system. So you still have to find a way to end rallies, but I'll be really interested to see who's able to build off of what they've done here in set 4.
Hayes, well dug by Ballard. Second ball from Mater. Kept up but overpassed. Chance for Creighton here. Hayes tried to push it for the corner. Sent it wide.
Really
22-16.
A really good job, you know, by the defense of Northern Colorado. It was a right idea from Hayes to work that inside out, to try to turn it and find those blockers' hands. Unfortunately for her, just didn't play in her favor.
Mater sets Brandewie on the slide. She just had to tip. Free ball back across. Brandewie slide again.
That's exactly what you want to see if you're a Blue Jay fan, is just a clean rip. Like, go for the seam, go for the tool, because if it is just a ball that's over, like the Northern Colorado defense, like, they're finding a way to get a hand on the ball, whether they throw up an arm, whether they throw up a tip, like, they're keeping that ball alive. So you have to enforce your physicality. You have to look for those teams, tools and seams. Like, you cannot allow these rallies to go on. Long rallies are not going to be what Creighton wants to see. Like, they want to see quick bang bang, like, how can I get in and out and force my physicality. They do not want to allow that Bears defense to go to work.
Mia Lydiard into serve. Creighton leading by 6. Pushed for Martin. Tools the block, gets the point. Set point in the 4th for Creighton to send it to a 5th. And it is Nora Wirtz. The blue-clad fans rise to their feet. The Creighton block does it again. And we will see a 5th for a second time here in Omaha. 25-17. Creighton takes the 4th. One set to decide who moves on. Well, there have been a lot of famous alumni in the history of Northern Colorado, but our favorite is our own Joe Willman. He does everything for the production here at Creighton. He's a director, he's a technical director, he is a technology maven. He does it all, and we certainly appreciate Joe, and we celebrate his baseball career as a pitcher at Northern Colorado. There's Joe punching the show back in the control room, and on the left, playing baseball for the Bears. Joe didn't know that was coming tonight, so we surprised him with that one. But we appreciate everything Joe does for us, keeps us on the straight and narrow, so thanks again, Joe Willman, the broadcast utility knife here at Creighton. Meanwhile, we've got a fifth set, Shannon Smolinski.
That we do. Fans are on their feet. Got Northern Iowa in the crowd scouting the next opponent as they will face the winner here in Omaha.
Creighton on the season, 3-1 in 5-set matches. Northern Colorado, 7-5. This is a team that has played 12 5-set matches on the season. They are not afraid when the final score is 15.
Yeah, another set 5 here. I mean, you can just feel how electric the crowd is. I mean, everything on the line here for both teams. You're seeing the joy, the smile. Both teams know that they want to play loose, they want to play free, but just an electric crowd here as we are almost underway.
Abby Hayes will start it off for Creighton. Here we go. Immediately to Reines. Good dig, Brysinger. Creighton goes to Ava Martin. Can't get it to fall. Bears first point.
I think we're going to have a quick challenge here, John, as at the end of that play, the Blue Jays thought that there was a net violation from Northern Colorado, which, while they're looking at it, they're going to have to look to see if it was after the ball had landed. That shot, I mean, going from 4 to 4. I mean, that's what the shot's called. I mean, it is so...
Well, it looks in.
After review, the call will be reversed. Creighton's point, they retain their challenge.
So yeah, not only the potential net, but yeah, it was. I didn't realize that they called it versus in or out. I thought it was wide. Hard
it
to
was
see.
Called out. But it was clearly in. Very quick review. Creighton gets the first point. Reines has to tip. Slide, Brandowie. Kept alive, well done, Alvarez Jorge. Martin. Ava Martin.
Talk about a set 5, only going to 15 points in all 4 sets. The Blue Jays had Nora Wirtz as their first server, which puts Ava Martin in the back row for about a rotation or a half. So you're seeing the adjustment here in set 5 as you don't have a whole ton of time to work with.
Reines. And the tip across again. Back to Martin. Alvarez Jorge tracks it down. Played across, free ball. Brandowie. Kept alive. Blocked. Re-rack. Reines from off the net. Sent it wide. 3-0 Blue Jays.
Hot start for the Blue Jays. But in that rally, the amount of one-arm digs from the Bears, it's just been really impressive so far what they've done here tonight in keeping that ball alive, and just an unlucky swing there from their outside.
Gibbs got it.
Really great set there from Alvarez Jorge. I mean, that was just such a perfectly placed ball. I mean, they just put it perfectly in that little window for her to have that line available to her.
Martin. Kept alive by Reines. Tessina. Now back to Martin again. Reines saves it again. Did it go inside the antenna? They won't stop play. Brandaway slide, score.
A really smart adjustment from the Blue Jays. I mean, that whole rotation to be able to have, you know, that's not something that you would see right away. So that 4-1 margin, just making that little adjustment. I mean, you have Nora Wirtz as your second server versus your first, but again, it's just that margin of error that allows for success.
Tessina, good dig, Abby Hayes. Martin, Lepore the dig. Van Lannen couldn't get it to fall. Martin, another chance, got it. They are just feeding Ava Martin here in the 5th. And she's eating.
Yeah, she's the Big East Player of the Year. I mean, there's no reason but to not lean into that.
"25 kills on the match now for Ava Martin.
A really good response from the Blue Jays as we talk about momentum in set 4, knowing that they had definitely in the driver's seat in set 4. And I think we kind of knew that it was going to go into a 5th set with how handily they took that 4th set, especially middle to the end of that set. So, you know, you just never know how it's going to start.
Right.
Like, it could easily go one of 2 ways. And, you know, the boring, easy thing for me to say is serve and pass, but it's the truth of it. I mean, when you start out with aggressive serving and you're able to do solid passing, and then you have Ava Martin up there, as much as you don't want me to say Ava Martin, Ava Martin, Ava Martin, but I mean, you have to give respect where respect's due, and that is you put her in the front row first so that you can have a player like that impact the game. Why wait? Why wait? I mean, she can definitely score from behind the line, but why not assert her physicality early in set 5?
She's got nearly twice as many kills as the next highest player in the match. That's Elena Tessina with 13. And we hear coaches sometimes say, don't think about plays, think about players. And it certainly seems like Brian Rosen has thought about his primetime player here in the 5th. Wirtz to serve it out of the timeout. Northern Colorado needs a point. They will get it.
If I'm Coach Rosen, I am challenging this
That was
ball.
close.
I think it was definitely in.
He's got the green card in his hand.
Did he pull the trigger? I don't think he did. That ball was definitely
I think Angie Oxley-Barons waved him off and said, don't do it.
Oh, I think that ball was definitely in.
Maybe discretion here because you're up by 3 at 5-2. You don't want to waste the challenge.
And I believe he only has 1 left.
Martin through the block, got it! 26 kills.
Why not? I mean, she's just...
Until they stop it.
Yeah, I mean, you have to go to her. You have Kiara Reinhardt in there. It's definitely a good option too, but you know, when you're scoring at that high of a clip, you just don't make it harder than it needs to be.
To the middle, kept up by Mater somehow. What a reaction. Martin off the net. Overpass. Saved outside the antenna, out of bounds.
Putting the Blue Jays on her back, but even before that, I mean, you have to give credit to Annalea Mater. I mean, there was a lot of balls early on in this match she was not able to keep in play, and it was a gutsy defensive play that kept that ball alive.
Out of bounds, touched off the Creighton block. And a little protest from the Creighton sideline again.
They might be talking about if she was under. I mean, there was a little bit of that contact, nothing that hit the net rather, but was there somebody underneath the net? So I think that was Coach Rosen's question, was she under?
7-3 Creighton in front. McCarter. Martin. Like a Mack truck driving it home.
Yeah, if you're Northern Colorado, you want to get her to the back row as quick as you can. So you can't allow the Blue Jays to be going on runs here. You're going to have to be really do a little bit better of a job. And I think in sets 2 and 3, I would not be serving her. And so they have her now in the back row. Does that lend itself a little bit of relief, if you will, if you are Northern Colorado, because now we're able to defend others, and because she's been able to score at such a high clip. But you know, I go back to the serve receive. I think that was something that Creighton really struggled at in sets 2 and 3, and I think they've done a much better job here in sets 4 and 5.
Good decision on the setter dump from Alvarez Jorge.
She's done that a couple times, John, and sometimes you'll see it where they go up with one hand, and I really like that two-hand throw. I like that the officials allow that to be played a little bit looser, because it's a really good call from Alvarez.
Reinhardt forces the overpass. Back to Reinhardt, overpassed again. Johnson, cross-court kill.
Great defensive effort from the Bears, but Jaya Johnson on the net is just really hard to defend. Just has that seam that split open for her. Well done.
Bennett. Brysinger somehow kept it up. What a play by Hayes. Bennett blocked. Kept alive. Reines can't get it to fall. Hayes, off hands. Blue Jays by 6.
You gotta play defense, you gotta play gritty defense. Maters now really coming alive in set 5, staying resilient in these long rallies.
Northern Colorado's chant that there
really,
was no touch.
really good job from Nora Hayes to keep that ball within her range, using the blockers in front of her. Just a beautiful backswing there. So they're challenging that touch, and
it's pretty clear.
It is pretty clear.
Comes right off the thumb of Alvarez Jorge.
See that backward.
There it
bend.
is.
So this will be pretty quick here.
After review, the call will be confirmed. Northern Colorado loses a challenge.
No challenge left for Northern Colorado.
This is a big side out if you're Northern Colorado. 11-4 is a pretty large deficit to come back from. So if they can try to keep it within 5, it's going to be important.
Bennett delivers.
Bennett has been really good behind, whether she's running off of 1 or whether she's running that 6, which is just a 1, but behind the setter. She's been really, really effective for their offense.
Lydiard started the season as the starting setter. Moved into a different role late in the season. Jaya Johnson ends her time at the service line.
Working the seams not only on the block, but working the seams between the backcourts. Really well done out of system there.
Timeout, Northern Colorado. They have none remaining. And Creighton leads by 6 with only 4 points left until they close out this match.
Really good serving from the Blue Jays. I think defensively is definitely what has kept Northern Colorado in this match, backed up by really quality offensive attackers that are definitely balanced and spread out. But when you don't allow for those defensive transition opportunities because your servers are just setting up your offense for free balls or down balls, that's really what they've forced the Bears to give them. There's not a lot of those quick balls to the pin. We haven't seen a whole ton of those. I mean, with the exception of that Bennett's, you know, right behind on that 6, I mean, there hasn't really been a whole ton of big swings that Northern Colorado has been able to take here in set 5. So really taking the opportunities into their own hands is what the Blue Jays have done, and they've done that within their serve behind that line.
This is an interesting note. Kirsten Bernthal Booth's first win, the former Creighton head coach in the NCAA tournament, was a 5-set victory against Iowa State in 2010. This is Brian Rosen's first NCAA tournament match as a head coach. We've gone to 5 sets. His team's 4 points away from giving him his first win in a 5-set thriller. Gibbs. And there's some concern for Abby Hayes as the swing from Gibbs came right off the head. And Abby's got the eyes watered a little bit.
Yeah, you hope it's just a stinger more than it is anything
The slap
else.
of the ball.
Yeah. I mean, luckily she was able to get her hands to slow it down first before it made contact with her face. And so those things, I mean, these athletes are playing so high above the net that sometimes that will happen. I mean, look right there. I mean, see how high her head is above.
And you catch one in the nose, it'll make your eyes water a little bit.
Yeah, as long as it's a stinger and nothing more. So good to see that she's okay and able to finish out this match.
She's gonna stay out. Alvarez Jorge trying to pull her team back. They trail by 5 here in the 5th set. Damrow. Reisinger sends it out. Hayes. Overpass, pushed across. Pancake from Lepore. Right back to Breisinger. Martin, back row. To the middle, Gibbs. Martin's dig. Kept up by Breisinger. Hayes, down the line. Got it. Off the hands.
She's done a very nice job of ending rallies, using that block, and as a freshman to be able to have that in your arsenal is really impressive, and it's so important, something that will really lend itself to having a really nice career for her collegiate career. If you're able to do that early as a freshman, that's so important.
Hausman to serve. Creighton 3 points away. Reines, dug by Breisinger. Martin got another 29 kills.
So impressive, the heat that she puts on that ball, whether she's on the net or off the net. And then again, just having that range, she's not hitting at that middle back or left back, rather she's splitting those 2 defenders. Just really well done.
Reines trying to throw it down. Re-rack Northern Colorado, Van Lannen. Damrow the dig, overpass. Damrow again. Martin, 30!
Ava Martin, Ava Martin, Ava Martin. I'll say it. I mean, you have to give her credit. There's just, I mean, look at that swing. I mean, it's just beautiful. I mean, she's done so much for the Blue Jays here tonight.
Match point for Creighton after trailing 2 sets to 1. Hausman sends it long. We play another, 14-7. Score or go home to Greeley, Colorado for the Bears. Good serve, Reines! It's an ace! She aced Ava Martin.
It's that high ball that's attacking at her shoulders. Don't know if it's gonna drop, whether she wants her user range to pass that deep or use her hands. But
took everything they had and then a little bit more. But Creighton, in 5 sets, will move on to face Northern Iowa in the second round, taking down the Northern Colorado Bears in 5 sets. What a match, what a performance by Northern Colorado.
Yeah, it was. The amount of second opportunities that they had from coverage and long defensive rallies. I mean, you have to give your hats off to them on the run that they've had later in that conference season, and the going up 2 sets to 1 here. It's just incredible what they did. So you gotta love the resiliency, and you gotta want to root for a program like that moving forward.
Especially, Shannon, after the way the first set went. I mean, Creighton was all over them. It was 25-12. It didn't look like they were in the match at all. And then they just rattled off back-to-back 25-23 wins in 2 and 3. That's tremendous mental fortitude from that bunch.
Absolutely. I mean, definitely impressive and definitely tough mental fortitude for sure.
We'll be back to wrap things up here from Omaha. Well, the home fans leave happy here from DJ Sokol Arena. Creighton pulls off the win in 5 sets over Northern Colorado. We're joined now by the head Blue Jay himself, Brian Rosen. Coach, it took a lot to get the Bears out of this building. This was a thrilling contest and a test for your group.
Yeah, absolutely. And give them credit. Obviously, we played great in that first set. I thought our serve was the difference. And then from then on, they really picked up their service pressure. They were just going back and serving the ball as hard as they could. And their defense was special tonight. I mean, there were so many balls that should have gone down and didn't. I mean, Kiara couldn't figure out where to put a ball, and they just kept getting balls up. And so give them credit defensively. And then I just want to give our team a lot of credit to fight and find a way to win.
Coach Ava Martin, 30 kills. I mean, and really just putting the team on her back there in set 5. You made that adjustment in sets 1 through 4. You had Nora Wirtz as your first server of the set, and then you made that adjustment to start Ava Martin in the front row. I mean, what can you say about her and her performance tonight? Yeah,
we just know that Ava's going to step up big in big moments. So in that 5th set, it was keep Ava front row as long as we can, and we weren't connecting very well with her in the back row today, which is normally a strength of ours. So we just wanted to keep her in the front row and still have Nora Wirtz be an early server for us, but not right away.
Coming off of 5 straight sets wins, this was a different kind of match for your team. What do you learn out of an experience like this as your first time as a head coach in the first round of the NCAA tournament?
Yeah, again, that every team in the NCAA tournament is really good, and everyone's fighting for their lives. Every single one of us just wants our season to go one day longer. And so you saw that even in the emotion from their team after the loss, and we would have been the same way. And so we're trying to extend this as long as we can, but I continue to love the fight of our team. We've been in a lot of these before. I mean, Marquette not that long ago right here in this building, down 2-1, found a way to come back to win in the 5th. So yeah, I love our fight and hope we can win easier, but that's not how it goes at this level.
Well, you get at least one more day, and we'll see you back here tomorrow to face Northern Iowa.
Thanks, and go Jays.
All right, congratulations to Brian Rosen and the Blue Jays getting their first round victory. And that sets up the 3-6 matchup tomorrow, 7:30 Eastern, 6:30 Central. Shannon and I will be right back here for that one. 2 old conference rivals, 2 teams that know each other very, very well, 2 teams that played early on in the season already.
Yeah, I'm excited for the matchup. I think you saw Northern Iowa took a little bit longer to settle in, but definitely, like you mentioned earlier, are sleeping well tonight and are proud of their resiliency and in their fight, and I'm really excited to see the matchup.
That was quite a day of volleyball. 2 5-set matches. Creighton gets the victory in the nightcap, 3-2 over Northern Colorado to move on. So that's going to do it for us. For Shannon Smolinski, I'm John Schreiner saying so long from DJ Sokol Arena, where Creighton moves on to the second round of the NCAA tournament. All games airing on the ESPN networks are streaming live and archived on the ESPN app. And this has been a presentation of ESPN.